All right, welcome back, everybody. Now it's time for our Grassroots Citizens panel. And joining me in studio is Dr. Bridget Melson. She is California Chairperson of Rick Santorum's Political Action Committee,
yes, sir,
known as Patriot Voices. Why does Rick Santorum have a PAC in California? Will he be running for president again in 2016?
You know, he's taking a good hard look at it, and we are laying the foundation, so I'm excited.
All right, that's interesting.
Have news.
All right, also in studio, as he was previously, is Barry Nussbaum. Barry is founder and president of the Israel Group. Barry, thanks for holding over.
Appreciate it.
Also in studio is comedian, actor, former intern in the Clinton White House.
Blue badge cleared, West Wing clearance.
Will Vought, and Will also was a writer for the Late Show. Good to see you, Will.
Thank you, Rick. Good to be here.
And joining us from Tallahassee, Florida, as he often does, is the managing editor of the Daily Surge at dailysurge.com, Jerome Hudson. Jerome, welcome to the show.
I like that.
How you doing? How you doing, Jick?
Oh, boy, this is going to be on the front page of the paper tomorrow.
All right, it better be. All right, first topic out of the gate here. It's hit Bowe Bergdahl. Let's start with Dr. Bridget Melson. You are running a political action committee for a man who may want to be our next president, Rick Santorum. I'm not saying that you reflect Rick Santorum's views, but you're in line with his philosophy. Do you believe that the White House knew everything the White House told us about Bowe Bergdahl was wrong? Everything. And do you believe they knew all along he was a deserter, or do you suppose this was just ineptness on their part?
Definitely ineptness, for sure, on their part. You know, we do have the facts that he was a deserter, that people lost their lives because of it, good military people. So it'll be interesting to see whether there's going to be a plea bargain, if there's going to be a trial, what's, Susan Rice is going to do. But yeah.
All right, so you think ineptness. I am, again, as I said in the previous segment, I am struck by the fact that so many of those who served with them came out and said, this guy walked away. He walked away on his own. He put us all in danger. Let's go to Will Vought, former Clinton White House intern. Will, is this something that troubles you, that President Obama would exchange 5 high-level Taliban operatives for this guy?
Well, I'm always a fan of getting Americans out that serve, so no American left behind. But with regard to being a deserter, I think that there's a case to be made, according to the military code of conduct, that he was AWOL and not a deserter. I think that there's something they're looking at today, because he was not gone from the camp more than 2 to 3 hours before he was picked up by the Taliban. Is there going to be a plea bargain? You better believe it. Nathan Jessup, Jack Nicholson will probably reprise his role as he did in A Few Good Men. And did you want the truth? Absolutely, there's going to be a plea bargain. The military wants this to go away, and it wants it to go away very, very quickly.
I don't know if it's the military as much as the Obama White House. Let's go to Jerome Hudson at the Daily Surge. Jerome, was this an ineptitude on part of the Obama White House, or they lied to us?
I think the ruminations are out there. I think that this was twofold. Barack Obama, in an election year, wanted to take a victory lap. That's why I think he used Bowe Bergdahl's parents as political props with the speech in the Rose Garden, and getting rid of. I mean, these were 5 of the worst Taliban leaders, and he got rid of them. And that was the other party. He really wants to close down Guantanamo Bay, but he's getting resistance from his party and, of course, Republicans. And so, making this swap was actually a means to meet both of those ends. It's horrible. It's embarrassing. And I mean, like Sergeant Mark Strong, he was a sergeant first class. He was shot in the head. Of course, there were 6 men who were killed looking for Bowe Bergdahl. But this man's going to be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. I mean, getting him back, he needs to actually face justice.
Let's go to Barry Nussbaum. A lie, or they just fumbled the ball?
I think it's probably a little of both. The thing that I find most shocking, Rick, is he violated American policy and he violated American law. He didn't have the authority as commander-in-chief to make this deal, number one.
He being President Obama. Correct.
And number 2, it seems, as John McCain said, it makes our soldiers less secure, because it encourages more kidnapping and ransom, and at the same time, they went after the Taliban in negotiations, the worst of the worst, and they got them out. And by the way, 3 of them are already making contact with their Taliban former comrades.
You know what, Barry, you bring up a good point. It incentivizes kidnapping, if you will, if nothing else, so that you could have a deal later. All right, switching gears now. Obamacare, the 5-year anniversary was this week. And you know what's interesting to me is we are still polarized. You hear pundits on the left say it's a great thing. President Obama gave us affordable health care. And those on the right, well, we saw what Ted Cruz said, it's time to repeal it. Let's go to Will Vought. Have you heard any true success stories?
16 million Americans have health care, have health coverage that did not have it prior to Obamacare. I had it last year through Obamacare. And, you know, much like I think the Constitution, you know, and, Disney and Disneyland, you know, it's something that is evolving. You know, the wound is where the light enters us. That's a quote that Rumi says. And I think that, you know, as we move forward, there's going to be this criticism. The plan is going to be changed, but people have health coverage. You know, the United States positioning itself as a world leader and not being able to have health care, you know, for its citizens.
Oh, man. All right, let's go to Jerome Hudson in Tallahassee with the Daily Surge. We just heard Will Vought point out, Jerome, that we now have 16 million Americans who previously did not have coverage. That sounds like a success story, does it not?
Yeah, but the Congressional Budget Office also crunched some numbers. And in fact, people are paying more for health coverage.
That's a very small amount of people that are paying more, and the deficit has been offset less than because of the.
All right, let him. Okay, good point. Let Jerome finish here.
Right, 35 million fewer people don't have health coverage today. 21% fewer people are actually insured. I mean, silly things like people being able to keep their doctor. I mean, we don't really care about that. Employers being forced to cut employees. 30 hours is now full time. I mean, the thing is a complete mess. At no point in time is inserting more federal bureaucracy in any sector in America a good thing, and Obamacare is just another example of that.
All right, we'll get our other panel members' take on that topic on the other side of the break. Democrats are crying racism as Republicans hold up the Loretta Lynch confirmation, but their desperate race-baiting attack is obvious, even to Jon Stewart. Take a look at this. Stay with me. From the Edge of America, I'm Rick Amato. We're back after this.
Lynch, the first African-American woman nominated to be Attorney General, is asked to sit in the back of the bus when it comes to the Senate calendar.
Oh, for sake. No, she's not being asked to sit. She's waiting on a confirmation vote tied to another bill. It's not this. You know, my guess is there is not a Senate procedural motion you could subject a person to that would rise to the level of Jim Crow segregation. Changing the amendment procedure makes me like a Cherokee on the paper trail of tears. No!